I'm Andrew Rudin, the composer of Quest, a piece for solo viola written expressly for Michael Ludwig. You'll be the first people to hear this piece. This is the world premiere, as it were, and you're hearing it even before I, the composer, have heard it. I hear it, of course, in my head, and I hear it on my computer, such as it is, and I will be hearing it after you've heard it. So I hope that you will be kind in your judgments. I'm here to tell you a bit about the piece itself, what ideas lie behind it, and how it came to be. Earlier in the summer, I was delighted and surprised when Michael took a genuine enthusiasm for a set of little pieces I wrote for unaccompanied violin. They were called canapes, subtitle Appetizers for Unaccompanied Violin. I thought of them as little musical snacks, as it were, each one a little tasty encapsulation of something you can do on the violin or some specific mood or technique. And I didn't think of them as anything very substantial, just something sort of fun. Well, Michael had different ideas. With his formidable technical expertise and his deep musicianship. He did something that is always a great pleasure and surprise with gifted performers. He showed me things about myself I didn't know. He showed me that the pieces were, in fact, quite a bit more substantial than I had given them credit for being. In fact, he liked them so much, he played them on 3 different virtual occasions, and that led to a new relationship between us as composer and performer. We had known each other many years earlier at the school where I taught in Philadelphia. I have to say that I'm the kind of composer who never gets up in the morning and says, you know, I've never written an English horn sonata. I really think I should do that. However, if some extraordinary English horn player came to me and said, I've heard what you wrote for cello, I wish you'd write something for me, I would immediately begin to have ideas. Something about knowing the personality and the proclivities of a given performer or even a group of performers or ensemble instantly makes ideas come. So very much that was the case with Michael and the playing of the canapes. But he further tempted me by sending me a video of himself playing on the viola a movement of a Bach cello suite. And he suggested to me, there's any chance maybe you could make something along the lines of the canapes, something for the viola alone that I could play when I want to perform as a violist. And I said, well, let me think about it. And so I did. The entire piece was written over the recent Labor Day weekend. And I had an idea for the very opening of the piece, which in fact you'll hear in the first few measures. That has stayed as it was. But those opening measures also suggested to me a passage of double stops derived from the same material. And I knew that all the individual double stops were playable, but I wasn't sure that as a progression that they lay well on the instrument. So I sent it to Michael and asked him about it. And he very shortly sent me back a little video of himself just whipping through the passage as though it were child's play. So I knew that I had something I could use there. And in fact, it became a major aspect of the piece. I should tell you that I myself was a cellist, playing from the time of junior high school all the way up through graduate school. In fact, I went through college on a cello scholarship, even though I became a composition major. So I'm familiar with aspects of string writing. But it's not the same thing to play on the cello or to play on a violin or a viola. So you always want to do something that, if possible, is reasonably idiomatic. So I hope that that proves to be the case. Michael seems to think that there have been few problems or awkwardnesses about the piece. He seems to love it. So I look forward to hearing it as you will have heard it. So what is Quest? Quest is seeking an answer, perhaps, to a question, uh, or a journey toward some goal. And this piece starts off in a very emphatic way, uh, and yet very soon it runs into evasive answers. Questions are posed, but somehow or another not satisfactorily answered. And then follows a section that's more brooding and lyrical and a bit sorrowful, uh, a bit dejected. And originally I thought the piece would be in two sections. The first more bold and the second more quiet and lyrical. But that increasingly didn't seem right to me as the piece revealed itself. So I transplanted a section from earlier on, and this gives the piece a sense of renewed determination and setting out again in search of the answer. But the ending is somewhat mysterious. It ends in a somewhat unresolved way, but not in a downcast way, I think, a more puzzled way than anything else. We're still seeking in our quest. So, at any rate, it's been a most happy collaboration, and I hope you enjoy the piece. If you have any questions, I'd welcome them. You can find me by simply Googling Andrew Rudin, Rudin. I have a website, and I have things on YouTube, and you can find my work also on Spotify if you use that app. So this is not the usual premiere. I envy you that you're there to hear it. I wish I could be there with you, and it's been a most happy occasion, and I hope that you find it so too. Thank you so much.